This is part 2 of the worst date in my life. And the reason why, ladies, you need to really know a guy before meeting up with him. So, like I said before, he left me at a table for like 30 minutes, and I got upset because I thought he was trying to ditch me to pay the bill. Well, then a couple minutes later, a girl comes up to me asking if I was on a date with 𝙤𝙬𝙠𝙚. I told her yes, and she basically explained that she was his girlfriend and baby mom. Well, at this point, she was his ex-girlfriend. She starts telling me the craziest things about him, that he robs people, and that he will soon be doing time for being a part of a murder investigation, and that I should stay away from him because he had HIV and that he gave it to her. I had to ask her, how did you find him? And she tells me that he takes all his new girls here. Then she leaves out the restaurant. 5 minutes later, 𝙤𝙬𝙠𝙚 comes back and tells me he thinks he dropped his wallet. In my head, I'm assuming that he's trying to make me pay for the $200 dinner. So I tell him that I have to go to the bathroom. I'm running out of time. This is part 3 of the worst date in my entire life, and the reason why you ladies need to really know a guy before meeting up with him. So his baby mom comes in and tells me the craziest things about him and then dips out. 𝙤𝙬𝙠𝙚 comes back out of the bathroom claiming he lost his wallet, so I had told him that I needed to go to the bathroom. When I get into the bathroom, I'm looking for an escape plan to leave out. When I get out of the bathroom, I walk the opposite way of her table and almost make it out of the restaurant. Next thing you know, I'm getting tapped on the shoulder and I turn around and it's him. I'm literally so confused because he was just sitting down the whole time. He asked me where the hell was I going, and I told him I was looking for the bathroom. He starts to act very weird. He walks me over to the bathroom and literally waits outside of the bathroom door until I get out. And guys, I didn't know what else to do. I needed an escape plan, and I saw a window in the bathroom and literally climbed out of the window to get away from this man. Then 2 weeks later, come to find out, he gets arrested and he's given 23 years in prison. Ladies, this is the reason why you need to watch your surroundings, even in the daylight. So earlier this morning, I had to go to the dentist to get my teeth cleaned. There's my little baggie. My mom, she couldn't really take me, so I had to take public transportation. And I'm from Philly, so I took SEPTA. So the trolley station was a couple blocks away from my dentist's office. So as I start walking, there's a man behind me yelling and shouting. And he walks around me, and so I'm thinking he's probably talking to somebody else. So he turns around, comes towards me, and starts telling me, y'all black, just weird. So I'm like, obviously this man is crazy, so like, let me continue minding my business. Then he walks up to me again, asking me why am I following him. So I keep walking, ignoring this man. Then he runs behind me and tries to snatch my purse. And literally, it's broad daylight. Alright, I'm running out of time. Y'all let me know if I should make a part 2. This is part 2 on why you ladies need to really watch your surroundings, even in the broad daylight. So, like I said before, I'm on my way to the dentist, and this man is literally shouting at me, and I'm ignoring him. And this man literally runs from behind me and snatches my purse. And guys, my purse is not even snatchable. This is my purse right here. It's like a basketball purse or whatever. And the thing is, my jacket was over my purse. So when he tried to yank my purse, he yanked me, and I fell on the ground. And as he was pulling on my purse, he was basically dragging me. But luckily, there was like an older man outside, and he took his stick, well, his cane, and he started hitting the man with the cane, and he just ran off. See, this is the type of stuff that happened in movies. Like, I would have never thought in a million years that that would ever happen. I really don't feel comfortable walking around here no more.
I'm getting tired of me same makeup looks. What to do? What to do? Wait, I know. Watch me put on 100 layers of foundation. Primer first. Sorry, do not mind my crusty nails today. First layer. And I already didn't like it. But great coverage, boo. Layer number 2. Layer 3. Layer 4. Layer 5. Layer 6. Layer 7. Layer 8. Layer 9. Layer 10. Layer 11. Layer 12. Layer 13. Layer 14. I went and put 32 layers off camera, but I watched The Bachelor so I wouldn't get bored. Ready for the final results. Sorry, I ran out of foundation. Come back for part 2.
Part 3 about the psycho neighbor that stalked me. So he comes in, I run into my room, and he chases after me. Before I could get up, he pulled onto my hair and started dragging me towards the kitchen. I saw the coffee that I had made earlier, and I was able to pick it up and throw the hot coffee in his face. He started screaming loud, and I took that chance to run into my room and lock the door. I immediately started calling the police, and from there, it sounded like he ran out of my apartment. When the cops came, they're doing an investigation, and all the gifts that he gave me all had cameras in them. And when I told them about my neighbor, they did some digging, and come to find out, that man wasn't even my neighbor. He didn't even live at the apartment complex. This is why you should never eat tasty cakes, and why I can't ever look at a coffee cake the same. So a couple years ago, my dad went to my uncle's house to come visit, but he was super hungry. He asked my uncle if he had any snacks. My uncle, of course, said yes. Then my dad went to his kitchen and saw that he had tasty cake coffee cakes. Boy, he was excited because my dad loves sweets. He went to go sit down to watch the game with my uncle, but when he took a bite of the cake, he said it tasted really moist. He ate half of it, then noticed that some of the crumbs on the tasty cake disappeared. When he took a better look at the cake, he realized that the tasty cake crumbs were maggots. This is the reason why girls lie about having a boyfriend when guys try to talk to them. Last week, there was a woman in Harlem, New York, and she was brutally attacked by a man after turning him down. This 31-year-old mother went to go buy a bottle of wine after work. Two men walked in the store, and one of them offered to pay. And she politely declined and said no thank you and that she could pay for it for herself. When she got ready to walk out, the men basically said that she thinks she's better than them. The men followed her out and threatened that what was she going to do about it. So she tried to ignore them and go about her day. Then they chased her across the street, kicking her, and one of the men tried to bite her eye out, but ended up biting her forehead, leaving a deep wound. She was screaming, and she just wanted to get her daughter. Story time on how I accidentally joined a cult. And the guy who was the head leader, I soon found out that he was a pedophile. At the time, I just graduated high school and I was not planning on going to college. So all I really did was work. At my job, I met this guy, and we're going to call him Devin. Devin was sweet, but he was so into spirituality and connecting with God. We started talking, then dating, and he asked me if I could come to his church. And when I was younger, I used to go to church, but I stopped going. No real reason why, but I thought it was my calling to reconnect with God again. When we go to his church / AKA the cult, when I first go in, there's like 10 people in the church, and it was run down. It looked like we were in someone's house. When we walked down the aisles, Devin introduced me to their head leader, which they called Father God. He told me that my clothes were too revealing, and he literally slapped my ass and laughed. Like for part 2. This is part 2 of how I accidentally joined a cult, and the guy who was head charge was a pedophile. So like I said earlier, we met his pastor, which they called Father God. The first thing he do is basically say that I look like a slut because of the clothes I was wearing, and slapped my ass. I looked at Devin, the guy that took me to their church, aka the cult. He laughs and tells their Father God that next time he would tell me about their dress code. After that, we go sit down, and I tell him that I was ready to go. He tells me to hold on and just please listen to the service. Anyways, when their Father God starts service, he goes in about women and what they should wear, tell them the only way to be a pure woman is to obey their man, and blah, 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 and dress godly. Just the most insane things ever. And everyone in there were like hypnotized and catching Holy Ghosts, jumping up and down, rolling on floors, passing out, crying. Their Father God calls me up and asks if he could use me as an example. When I stand up, he feels on my breast saying that I'm a temptation for married men. Like for part 3.